Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Capricorn energy, and like usual on this channel we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Capricorn energy, the bottom row a more worldly shadowy Capricorn energy. We've all got our dualistic nature of free will, and there is that aspect within ourselves that is our kind of more lazy, selfish, greedy, prideful, immature, self-indulgent, want reward without effort, petty, envious, jealous, the list goes on. We all know. Well, oh my gosh, that's too many cards. No, we're going to keep shuffling. Anyway, life's about learning lessons. Some people have learned more lessons than some other people. Some people are more emotionally mature, balanced, stable, grounded, just, fair, loving. Our shadow nature, the devil, is shadowy Capricorn energy. And I view high vibe Capricorn as the King of Pentacles, that we've put in work and effort to learn lessons throughout our life to get out of our more immature, shadowy nature. And there's always going to be people who are like more mature and stable and grounded than us, and we might be more mature and stable and grounded than other people. They in turn might be more grounded and stable and mature than other people in their life. There's all sorts of people in the world. So everybody, battles within themselves. Are they ready to kind of move to the next level of life, face their fears, temper their more worldly nature to grow and heal and mature themselves? Are they not? Some people might be battling within themselves right now about making a change in their life. Other people aren't battling at all. Some people are like, no, I'm happy with my life the way it is, and I'm going to keep living my life that way. And we all do live our life a certain way until we're ready and kind of listen to our intuition, and things kind of aren't going the way we thought they were going to go, and then we might decide to live life differently. And there are going to be some people in relationship to who they used to be and other people in their life that are moving forward in life differently. High vibe energy is about being more independent, learning how to love and believe in yourself, temper your own fears and insecurities. Some people haven't learned how to do that, So we all tap into Capricorn energy. It has to do with kind of what we view as victorious. Are we more about ourself, ego, image, indulgence? Have we realized that love is what makes it all worthwhile? Some people are still really caught up in themselves or the world or their fear or their codependency or their lust or their greed, and they might stay that way all their life. The whole thing is, we just need to deal with the truth. If you harness a certain level of high vibrational Capricorn energy, you'd probably want to hang out with some people who are kind of on that same level of life experience and maturity and stability and security and stuff like that. And, listen to your intuition about who's who in your life. Okay. Oh, at the end, we're going to draw some cards to find out what could be a possible outcome that people might not see coming, depending on if they harness a more high vibrational Capricorn energy or a more worldly or shadowy Capricorn energy. So the reason for the bottom row's reading is the star. The reason for the top row's reading is the sun. So both considered stars. But high vibe sun energy is more about being more authentically yourself, being loving, being nurturing, being supportive, being encouraging to yourself and others, and dealing with the truth, being illuminated to the truth. Sometimes in the star card, we're kind of more caught up in ourself or these things of the world that we want. And there could have been people in our life that we wanted to have a dream come into reality with. The star card in Aquarius energy is I have a dream. And some people's dream is a more worldly focused dream. It is more about the status and the ego and the image, or being more about themselves. Or maybe indulging in all these things. Look at me, I'm living the dream. And other people have kind of tempered their more worldly egoic nature. They've kind of outgrown some of those more immature ways of living life or being about themselves, and they've been illuminated to the truth that love is what makes it all worthwhile. So let's go look at the bottom row. We have the Three of Wands, which is, I'm expecting my dreams to come into reality. Two cards each of I have taken certain action in my life. That's the Three of Wands. I have taken action to try to bring a dream into reality. And then we have the King of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Seven of Pentacles, where we can get into jobs, friendships, and relationships with people. And, we could harness these energies differently. For some people, and a lot of probably the people in our life, we kind of harness these in the same way. We have a dream. The King of Swords can be kind of like our self-protective, defensive nature. We should keep doing this. Let's keep doing this, because otherwise, in the Eight of Cups, we have to offer ourselves a cup of love to overcome the mountains, which can represent the obstacles and challenges in our life, and keep persevering and keep believing in ourselves, keep believing in our dreams. And if we were to do that, the Seven of Pentacles can talk about our philosophy of life. We'd have to offer another cup of love to our philosophy of life, to kind of keep believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams. I have lived my life a certain way. The King of Swords is Libra energy, represented by the scales of justice. We got involved in something, and for a long time it could have seemed just and fair. But then it's kind of like our intuition is kind of calling us and telling us, you've kind of learned everything you've needed to learn here, living your life at this phase of life. It's time for you to love and believe in yourself, to kind of incorporate the lessons that you've learned to go to the next phase of life. Just like we did age 15 to age 18, 18 to 21, 21 to 25, we all are at a certain stage of life we think is just and fair, and it kind of is just and fair because that's where we're at. It's how we view life. It's our emotional maturity level. It's what we think is just and fair. It's all these things of the world and things that we're driven and motivated by. But if we listen to our intuition, high vibe energy is going with the flow. You start out something new, and then as you're moving forward in something new and you're living your life that way, or whatever you're doing for like 2, 3, 5 years, whatever. And then there kind of comes a time where your intuition is telling you, it's time to maybe spread your wings and fly with, this is an emotional figure. So the emotional female figures in tarot can represent how we think and how we feel. The masculine energies can represent kind of how we're presenting ourselves in the world and the action that we're taking in the world. We all took action to bring a dream into reality. We thought that was just and fair. And it, at that point in time, could have been just and fair. But this is kind of the more shadowy, worldly realm that we could be moving forward in things, but why? It might have been appropriate at one point in time, but is a time to move forward and, again, kind of grow up and mature ourselves. The Eight of Cups is walking to the Nine of Cups, which in high vibe is becoming more independent, becoming more emotionally independent, of being more about yourself, because the Three of Wands is Aries energy, which is about the self. Or maybe some people, I think for the first 30, 40 years of our life, we're pretty caught up in a lot of these things of the world. All these things that we want to manifest that we are sure will make us happy. And for the first 30, 40 years of our life, that's what we're doing. Trying to get this justice based on these things of the world that we want in our life. And then sometimes we can do those things. And then maybe as we get older, it's kind of like, I might have worked in this career field, maybe because it made more money. But maybe what I'd really like to do is something else. So then sometimes people can switch career fields. But the Aquarius star can just also talk about looking at life from a higher perspective. Putting things in perspective. When we're younger, again, those first 30, 40 years of our life, we can be so caught up in these things of the world, it kind of can consume us, right? And it could be kind of clouding our judgment, the opposite of the sun, which the opposite of a more high vibe life is a more worldly focused life. And that would be like the moon, like we're not, because we've got these things to learn, we're not, our judgment could be clouded. We could make a lot of decisions more out of fear or defensiveness to doing life differently. And the bottom row can represent how we're kind of repeating some old patterns based on how we grew up, people in our community, people in our family, people in our state, in our country, in our world. Everybody's kind of doing certain things in the world. And again, high vibe energy is about being more independent, shining your authentic light. And because we have all these lessons to learn and we are so influenced by the world that it can take till we're like 40 years or older to really be more willing in the King of Swords energy, high vibe, to stand up for ourselves. It's like, I did all these things and did things like my family did it or my friends, and I did have all these lessons learned. I could have been kind of consumed with all these things I wanted to indulge in the world. And then we're kind of ready to become more independent of the world and living life maybe more like our friends and our family, because we're all unique. That's what the Aquarius energy talks about too. I have my own things that kind of motivate and inspire me, and things I find emotionally fulfilling that I want to invest my time, energy, and effort into, which might be different than some of my friends or my family or people I know, And it can kind of take till we're older to kind of be willing to stand up for ourselves and be more independent. And the shadowy row can represent kind of being more codependent. Have I learned how to be balanced within myself and love myself and offset my own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs to have learned how to love myself just to be more independent instead of more codependent and caught up like, oh my gosh, I got to wear this and I got to look like this and I have to do all these things and I have to hang out with those people and not those people. And, all these things we can get caught up in the world instead of just living our authentic life. We're so much more than what we wear and how much money we have and what we look like and who we hang out with, blah, 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 But there's always going to be some people in our life. We could be ready to move forward in life differently, kind of step out of our comfort zone. And we could know some other people that are like, nope, I'm going to keep living my life like this. Some of them are very much about themselves and the world. Some of them are kind of, if they say something's just and fair, it's just and fair, even though other people might not think it's just and fair. That might be their idea of the dream life. It's not other people's idea of the dream life. And we might have to be in relationships, with people for a long time. And, because you have to negotiate all these things and you are again at kind of these different phases of life. And eventually some people are like, I'm ready kind of to move forward differently. And I think high vibe people have love for people, so they offer them love and encouragement to move forward with them. Let's all face our fears. Let's all look at life from a higher perspective and not get caught up in our head. Both Libra and Aquarius are air sign energy, and you don't have to be dealing with those sun signs, but you could be dealing with people who are just more comfortable living more from their mind than their heart and making their life more about themselves or those things of the world that they want to indulge in or make important in their life. And maybe they're not very connected in with their emotions and listening to their intuition. And they could find it completely emotionally fulfilling if they were to live their life like that forever and to each their own. But other people who've been at a workplace, a friendship, a relationship, it's like, aren't you kind of motivated to just, live your more authentic life? Not be so caught up in these things or get over yourself and get out of being so bossy or controlling or egotistical or self-centered or, can we go with the flow? Can we just let love and intuition guide us? And some people are like, nope, that would mean I'd have to incorporate love into how I make decisions in my life. And some people don't want to do that. Some people don't even want to be more independent of the world or other people in their life, you know? And some people are going to keep living their life try to live their life like that, maybe forever. And if that's what they find enjoyable and emotionally fulfilling, well, okay. Everybody's got the free will to live their life whatever way they want. It's just that some other people kind of realize that that isn't what's most important to me, or making you the center of my universe isn't the most important thing. I'm my own individual with my own dreams and aspirations. And sometimes people don't like that in other people. If I can't kind of be the boss of you and stop you from being more independent and believing in yourself and loving yourself and being more authentic, if I make my life more about me, I want you to make your life more about me. That could be some people who think they're the star of the show and they think they're the most important person in a relationship or a workplace or a friendship, and they think other people should think that also. And some people, the most important thing is to have a certain status or image in the world, or not have to be more authentic in the world. You can make your life more about conforming to the world, and you kind of don't live your more authentic life. This is what the world says to make my life about. This is what I'm going to make it about. That's my truth. It's like, okay, well, that's not my truth. And my truth is, shadowy energy can just be all these things that manipulate us. Letting the world manipulate. It's like all these unspoken things. I mean, some things could be spoken in friend groups, in family groups, or basically conveyed. You should not be more independent. You should make your life about these things. You should act like we do. You should. And other people are like, if you want to let all those things manipulate you within yourself and outside yourself, that's your free will. But I don't make those things or those people or whatever kind of the boss of my life or manipulate me in that way. It might manipulate you. Whatever it is, I've kind of been illuminated to the truth of it. And so some of you have already done that. And there could be some other people that are just now coming to see the truth of it. But if you did recently or sometime, had to distance yourself from some people who you realize kind of harness shadowy Leo, Aries, Libra, Pisces, Taurus, Aquarius energy, where their philosophy of life is more self-focused or worldly focused or self-centered, egotistical, think it's just and fair to try to manipulate people, not really being authentic, being maybe more secretive and manipulative. Any lesson that someone has to learn in life, that can take years and decades just to learn one lesson. If you know some people that are kind of manipulative, egotistical, caught up in the world, kind of more about themselves, emotionally detached, more self-indulgent, are have all these things that manipulate them, where it's more about and I guess shadowy Capricorn, where their philosophy of life is more worldly based. A lot of them are going to keep living their life like that because that is their truth. So, what about the top row? The Six of Swords in reverse. So the Six of Swords is Aquarius energy too. People had been moving forward in a way of viewing life that they thought, oh my gosh, my dreams are going to come into reality. This is just and fair. But part of the reason we might have done that is because, again, we had these lessons to learn about loving ourselves and being willing to be more independent, and just had to learn these lessons that we needed to incorporate into our philosophy of life. And again, it can just take several decades of our life to learn that. And so then high vibe people kind of realize that's not how I want to keep moving forward. That's not my dream. And then we have the Knight of Wands, which is Sagittarius energy, which is kind of looking at life as an adventure to be lived. And life is about, and it's higher learning and education, that we come in contact with all these different people in the world to help us get clear about what our truth is and what our truth isn't. And are we willing to stand up for what we believe in, have hope and faith and belief in our dreams, to deal with the truth, illuminate the truth? That's why some people aren't going to move forward in the world, because they would maybe have to illuminate a truth. Have to become more independent, have to learn how to love themselves. And some of them aren't there yet. And so other people were. And it's like, you know what? I'm inspired to go on an adventure from a place of love for myself and belief in myself and belief in my dreams. And I offered the people in my life love and encouragement for them to come with me. And some of them turn their back to moving forward with me in that way. It's like, okay. So then we have a card not showing itself, which is the Ace of Swords. Basically, our truth is different. What we think is just and fair makes us feel stable and grounded probably at any point in time in our life. What drives and motivates us is different. Their truth is different than my truth. And maybe initially when we got in job, friendships, and relationships, initially we didn't know that, and for some of those people, they didn't know it. You don't really know. You might think, oh yeah, I'd be willing to do that, or I'd be more bold and brave and confident. I'd be willing to be more authentically myself. And then when it comes down to, are you willing to be more independent of being more about yourself or these things of the world or your defensive nature or your ego nature, other people in your life? And some people are like, I guess not. I'm not willing to do that. So then we have the World card, which is about learning lessons. And this picture shows someone giving birth to something new. The World talk emotionally, because it would be a feminine figure that gives birth, right? The World card talks about learning lessons. And the truth sets us free. The Sun is about learning to be in life-giving energy. I can listen to my harsh, critical inner voice. I can let my defensive nature, my ego nature, run my life, and I can let other people play that kind of role in my life. Am I willing to deal with the truth and decide I don't want my own shadow nature or other people to manipulate me? I am inspired to love and believe in myself. And then high vibe Leo sun energy can be, I choose to be in life-giving energy. I choose to offer myself love and encouragement and compassion, for love and encouragement and compassion to people in my past so I can let the past go. Everybody goes through this in life. Some people did kind of heal and grow and mature themselves and became more just and fair and loving and authentic and stable people in a way, and other people kept being more motivated by themselves or the world or their immature or their defensive nature, and they're who they are. But I want to give birth to something new, and I don't want those things to keep manipulating me. And kind of offering love to the situation is what sets you free. So the World talks about you're ready to move forward in life differently. It's just like when we were young, we could have had some people in our life that, they were age 15. Other people were kind of facing their fears and insecurities to become more like an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. And we could have known people who they were 18 and 21, but they kept kind of living life like a 15-year-old or, doing that when you're 25 and 30, but acting like a 21-year-old, It's just we all have to make these decisions for ourselves about what our truth is. Are we willing to face our fears? Do we have hope and faith and belief in our dreams? Have we learned to love ourselves? And until some people are ready, they're going to keep repeating an old pattern, and other people are moving forward. So then we have the Death card and the Hangman. So part of it could be that you're putting an end to staying in non-life-giving energy, because the Death card would be the opposite of giving birth to something new, and putting an end to being stuck. You know, the Hangman talks about feeling stuck. You know, like, why aren't things changing? And, you know, we can blame other people. We can keep trying to get other people to move forward with us in a more just and fair, authentic, loving way. But if they keep turning their back to moving forward in that way, and it keeps us feeling stuck, you know, at what time are we going to be illuminated to the truth that it's like, you know, they have the free will to live their life whatever way they want. And if I know this isn't my truth, the only person I can change is me. And I'm not going to keep staying where things aren't growing, healing, maturing, possibly where people are being intimidating or controlling or acting like a private detective, or they just kind of keep their emotions buried beneath the surface. You know, and they're not very maybe authentic and loving and warm. And it's like, I'm not going to keep staying stuck, so I'm putting an end. The world can talk about completing that cycle. And then when you decide to put an end to that, you're kind of letting go of something that you could have had a strong emotional attachment to and connection with, because the Death card is Scorpio energy, emotional water sign energy. You know, these complicated feelings we have towards people. And then we have to work through that process of emotionally detaching from the past, from our own self-defensive nature, let go of some old dreams. We can't have our dream come into reality if other people kind of aren't on the same page as us. And our dream can only come into reality with people who are more on the same page as us. And if we're someone who's willing to stand up for ourselves, and we're trying to maintain balance within ourselves and in a relationship, but other people kind of are more motivated and inspired to make it more about them or the world, you know, if we kind of want our dreams to come into reality and be in a more emotionally fulfilling workplace, friendship, relationship, we've got to work through those complicated feelings that we have. And the Hangman talks about being enlightened to the truth also, that everybody does look at life differently. Everybody has, you know, why would some people stay bossy and controlling? That would be like shadowy Aries and Libra that people can harness, or egotistical and self-centered. Well, for one, that's how they view life. Everybody thinks the way they view life at any given moment of life. They justify it or they wouldn't do it, most likely. And it could be just because that's what makes them feel stable within themselves. If you were to try to push someone out to be more on the center stage of their own life, and they're not ready for that, like, it'd be like shoving someone out on a stage to sing in front of a major coliseum of people, and they're not ready and comfortable and all these things within themselves and free of things that manipulate them to be more authentically themselves. So it could really, you know, just like when we were younger, we could have friends and family that are like, why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? You know, until we incorporate everybody can tell us certain things, but until we incorporate that into ourselves, and that really is a reflection of who we are, and we're able to get out of our head about these things that cause us fear or insecurity, you know, we would have went out on stage and cried. You know, you can't do it authentically. You can try to fake it, but to really, you have to detach from some of these things from the past that kind of can get a stranglehold on us and keep us stuck. And that takes investing time, energy, and effort. And again, I view High Vibe Capricorn as the King of Pentacles. And when one person is holding the one pentacle, in high vibe, it means that they have done this inner work and learned these lessons and done the inner work to deal with the truth about things within themselves. And then how, if they have their fear, their insecurity, their past pain and heartbreak, repeating some old patterns, indulging poor behavior in themselves or others, they're going to get in relationships like we have with people that are happy they're in that energy. It's like, cool, let's get in a relationship. Boy, this would be like a dream come true being in a relationship with you. And we'll stay in the relationship until you might either start to love and believe in yourself more or heal from your own past pain and heartbreak, or you finally see the truth about me. Because again, some people can wear a false mask. They present themselves as harnessing high vibe Capricorn, King of Pentacles energy. I'm this stable, grounded, balanced, emotionally mature, authentic, loving person. You should hire me. You should work with me. You should go into business with me. You should date me. You should marry me. But the thing is, in shadowy King of Pentacles, anybody, male or female, can present themselves as being that type of person, wear a false facade, operating more from ego. And you get in those workplace friendships and relationships, and when you're kind of ready to move forward, either to take it to the next level, for things to progress the way they naturally should, that's when you realize someone is defensive, that there's something within them that either they don't want to detach from, become independent of, or be more authentic and have to work through these issues within themselves that keep them stuck. And then we can keep staying in a relationship with them in the Tower card until we finally see the truth of their foundation. That my dream can't come into reality here if they're not willing to do that work within themselves to be free of some of the things that manipulate them. Those things don't manipulate me. I am ready to move forward. And it could just be they used to manipulate me, but I did this work within myself to look at life differently, to look at life from a higher perspective, to love myself, to work through those things that previously made me align with my more shadowy or codependent or caught up in the world things. And now I want to move forward in this different way. And if they don't want to move forward, I can be very sad. But I have looked at life differently. And it's, when you've been illuminated to the truth of how certain ways of thinking or feeling or acting or viewing life keeps you maybe feeling safe and everything can look good in the world. But if that's not the truth of how you feel inside with the Tower card, or you're in workplaces or relationships and friendships with people who could be kind of aligned with their more shadowy nature or hurtful or unkind, or trying to make you stop loving and believing in yourself, then it's time to go. Now, as some of you could be thinking or did leave some type of situation or way of living your life, what some people might not know with that card not showing itself, well, some people don't even know that you've been illuminated to the truth. Sometimes when we have some shadowy people in our life, they are, high vibe, you're either being truthful and honest and just and fair and acting with character and integrity and treating other people the way you like to be treated, or you're trying to confuse people about the truth, but kind of trying to manipulate people to get them to do what you want. And we can all have known some shadowy people in our life, and that's kind of a more immature way of handling things in a relationship, right? You want to do truth and love. You want me to detach from the Queen of Wands, which is shadowy Leo energy, is how I view it. You want me to quit either trying to manipulate you, control you, to get you to do what I want, And you want me to be more open and authentic and loving and just and fair, is basically what you could have told someone. And they're like, nope, not going to do it. I am not going to move forward with you in that way. And sometimes those people do that because they know that you love them. And they think you will put an end to the way you view life. And you'll come back and do the relationship the way they want. Because they know you wanted this dream to come into reality. You know, and that's where in our Scorpio nature of our emotions, we have all this confusion because I might love someone. I wanted them to be in long-term friendships and relationships with me, whether it's my adult children or my siblings or a longtime friend or a romantic interest. We have people in our life that we want to have in our life, but if we kind of can tell, you know, we thought a dream was going to come into reality and then someone in the tower does something hurtful, unkind, unjust, unfair, but they want to tell themselves it's just and fair. Well, anybody can view life any way they want, you know. But anyway, as you move forward, there might have been other people you could have communicated with. I've put an end to this way of living life, and I am going to give birth to this new beginning emotionally. I have learned some valuable life lessons, and it kind of freed me from a Queen of Wands would be a counterpart, Aries energy, I view as the King of Wands. You know, because, you know, maybe we harness our Aries energy differently too. High vibe Aries is where you're kind of being a good leader in your own life and you have learned lessons in life. And when your decisions are going to affect other people, you also take those people into consideration. And there's some people that are like, but I don't want to do that. I only want to make really decisions that are best for me. I'm the most important person. And that's when, you know, I'm going to emotionally detach because I have been illuminated to the truth. They had the free will in a relationship to make better decisions in their own life, to offer themselves a cup of love if they get caught up in their head and their fear and their insecurity. And instead of moving forward in high vibe Leo Aries energy that they can harness, they let go of that and decided, no, I'm going to harness shadowy fire sign energy. I'm kind of more motivated by me, fear, insecurity, being manipulative, trying to intimidate or control people, instead of really being more treating other people the way I like to be treated. And some people saw the truth. People have free will. If they're not choosing to be more just and fair and choose love and make the free will choice to offer love to the situation, to work through situations, then why would I even want to stay in this job, friendship, or relationship? They've shown me the truth of their foundation, that when it comes to making that free will choice, they choose something maybe immature, impulsive, reckless, stubborn, prideful, defensive. It's like, you know, if I chose truth and love and hope and faith and belief in my dreams, I need to be in relationships with other people who choose hope and faith and belief in themselves and in their dreams. And if that's not where you're at, I wish you peace, but I need to be in relationships with people who have learned these lessons in life. So, and then, you know, some people right now are still kind of stuck. It's like, I don't know, if I did this, it would seem like I have all these things of the world in a lot of ways that I would want. I just wouldn't be aligned with, like, in my fire sign energy of really being in friendships, relationships, and workplaces with people who really inspire me to be more authentically myself and love myself and believe in myself and aligning with that way of being within myself. Instead, I'd be letting that go and I'd keep making my life more about these things of the world or codependency or doing what seems just and fair, maybe because some people are still afraid of really revealing the truth and they're still processing this. Other people have already moved on and they've seen who is willing to come with, who isn't willing to come with. And if some people that they could have communicated with aren't communicating back with them, that is action in itself. So apparently we're not on the same page. And though I might be sad, and sad we're don't kind of view life from the same perspective, or, some people were high vibe people, and they're like, could have communicated with you, but sorry, at one time you were someone I did want to have a dream come into reality, but maybe they've moved on in their own high vibrational relationship. Well, why would a person get out of one high vibrational relationship to get like in another? And then they might kind of think, well, wait a minute. Maybe if I go back and get in a relationship with someone else, the people I'm already in relationship with we're kind of at that point where it is to go to the next stage. Maybe I could go get in a relationship with someone who we could start all over. And, kind of like recount the clock to zero and be in another relationship for quite a long time before that person would want me to be more authentic or whatever, And so if you have anybody coming towards you or anybody you communicated with, people in your life, people you meet as you move forward, you can always be like to all the different people you meet in the world. You can be warm, you can be authentic, you can be loving and encouraging, but it doesn't move forward in a more involved relationship until I find out what your truth is, what you think is just and fair, what your dreams are, what drives and motivates you. Because I've already been in a relationship with people who wear a false mask, and I have learned to listen to my intuition and maybe get to know more about those things about people. And if they seem to be more about themselves, more about the world, living more from their mind than their heart, it's like, sorry, I've already known people like that. Damn, that would have been nice, but I'm not going to go repeat that old pattern because it's not going to work out anyway, because I've already been in relationships with people who are like that, and I'm not going to be trying to change people's minds. If they haven't done this work within themselves to look at life differently and be illuminated to the truth that it's about love, treating other people the way you like to be treated, not more about you, not the scales slightly being always in your favor, and it is about being just and fair, those are the only people I'm moving forward with, is the people who have been illuminated to the truth. And because some of you have said that, are doing that, there's other people that are like, oh shit, that person left. Okay, I need to go find someone else who I think I can have my dreams come into reality with, that maybe won't be more independent, who won't work through those issues that manipulate them, who won't maybe be more authentically and more independent in the world. And they'll try to repeat this pattern, and some of them are trying to repeat that pattern right now. What's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Capricorn energy that they don't see coming? It has to do with this card, which is the Chariot in reverse. And the reason it came out is because of the Tower. So, the Chariot is Cancer energy, about an emotionally balanced, loving relationship. And you could have known some people, they're just tipped out of balance, might present themselves as an emotionally loving family person, but you ended up seeing the truth that they're maybe more about ego and image, and that is just a persona they try to present. So people will get in relationship with them, but they really live more from their mind than their heart, more maybe inspired by themselves or these things of the world. And you don't want to be in a more, it looks like love, but it's like the illusion of love. You want the real deal, and you saw the truth. And if some people were tempted to maybe get in a relationship with someone else, could, you could know different people, other people could kind of come back in people's lives, or you meet someone and it could kind of be a shock, but it's like, I'm already moving forward in a high vibe relationship, so I'm not going to let go of this one to go get in that one, even though they might be comparable. If some people realize, wait a minute, I'm kind of in a mismatch relationship, I'm trying to do this, and the person I'm in a relationship with is doing that, I'm not going to keep moving forward with the people. It's just seeing the truth. Who are the people? Is it people in my past, people in my present, people who I might meet? Who are seeing the truth of the foundation of different people in your life? Who is moving forward with me in high vibe energy? Who wants me to not love and believe in myself and kind of keep indulging someone in a more imbalanced relationship? And whoever isn't aligned with my truth, I'm letting go of. And whoever is aligned with my truth, I'm willing to go communicate to. And then also the Tower card can be, I did detach from some people, and now I've completed this process within myself, and now I'm ready to have that new beginning. So we can detach from people. That's like the first tower. But then you kind of have to work through the emotions of it. And then when you've completed that process, now I'm really done with it. And now I'm ready to go back out there with the lessons that I've learned, feeling more stable and grounded, and nurturing within myself, and to go have new beginnings in my life. And for some of the people in your life, that could surprise them. For anybody who's just now distancing themselves from someone in a relationship, it can be really shocking to some people that you wouldn't stay in something that by worldly standards could look very successful and victorious, but it's not aligned with your truth. And another thing that could be shocking is that when some people, even though they were offering truth and love and encouragement to the people in their life to move forward with them, if some people are more prideful and egotistical because you wouldn't stop what you were doing, some people will be surprised that some people they viewed as these just and fair and loving people could do something very hurtful and unkind to try to destabilize you, hoping you'll kind of run your life off into the ditch and you'll be sad and, you'll feel stuck. And it's kind of like backstabbing and betraying you, but in order to try to maybe get you to give up on believing in yourself so you'll come back and do the relationship their way. And it's just another confirmation, like, wow, all these things that had went on anyway, me trying to be loving and encouraging, they're being defensive to it. And then when I, finally am willing to kind of stand up for what I believe in, then they maybe show more of the truth of who they are, and it just kind of helps solidify your decision. What's coming up for some people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Capricorn energy that they might not see coming up? The Queen of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Five of Pentacles. There's always going to be some kind of more immature, shadowy people in the world, right? And they're always going to have some more emotionally mature people around them that the Queen of Pentacles can represent in workplaces, in families, in friendship groups, people that they could be dating, people they could be married to. Hopefully only one person they're married to. And those people in their life, are offering them love and encouragement and truth to try to work through these things within themselves that manipulate them. And eventually some of the high vibe people in their life in the Five of Pentacles talks about detaching. The Five of Pentacles detaches from the Four of Pentacles. I wanted to hold on to this. I've been offering love and encouragement to this situation. And eventually they see the truth. This is never moving forward. We're never going to bring that dream into reality, are we? And eventually the high vibe people in their life move on. But, there's more people in the world who have lessons learned from someone like this. And those people are going to come get in a relationship. Kind of God uses everyone for God's good purposes. And there could be other loving, nurturing people who come into these people's life. And eventually the same pattern will repeat itself if these people probably refuse to change. Some of them, if they're very all about themselves and ego and image, there's going to be other people who come in their life and leave. And there might be just more people in their life who leave. Because eventually people see through the illusion and they see the truth. At one point in time, I could have thought you were high vibe and growing and maturing and healing. But as things keep happening over and over, more people start to see through the illusion. Some people have people they could move forward with and have a dream come into reality with. But those people want them to detach from some old ways of thinking and believing and viewing life to be more independent of. And some people are like, nope, I'm not willing to do it. And then other people start to see the truth. And eventually, if they keep being like this, they're going to have people who come into their life that are on the same page as them. Who might be in a more shadowy, I view both the Queen of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles as Taurus energy. Instead of offering, and the Seven of Pentacles is Taurus, instead of offering love and being more independent into their philosophy of life, they're like, nope, I'm happy to indulge in making my life more aligned with this philosophy that it's more about me, kind of being shadowy Taurus energy that anybody can harness, can be just more fixed, unbudging, stubborn, and also just kind of more worldly focused, materialistically focused. And they might end up getting in a relationship, and some people are in those relationships right now, and for some, that's why some people aren't moving forward with some high vibe people, because it's like, well, thank you for thinking I was more high vibe, but you apparently didn't know the truth about me, and I really am more about these things of the world, and I want to be in a relationship with someone else who's more about those things of the world, or they're willing to indulge me for those things, which can just be whatever I've got that people want. I'm attractive, I'm charming, I have social clout, I got money. Shadowy Taurus energy about relationships can be that it's a more transactional relationship. And some people like a more transactional relationship. If I think I have more of the things of the world that other people should want, and they should want to kind of indulge me because of it, I think that's just and fair. And then if they find someone else who has those things of the world more that they want, and that person has more of it than they have, then in whatever it is, then they're also willing to indulge them, because that's how they view relationships. And some people could think that is the name of the game, and they could think that's what everybody does. But that's not the truth. Not everybody does that. Not everybody is trying to manipulate people to get the things that they want out of their own best interest. Some people, high vibe Capricorn is working together with people cooperatively from a foundation of love and wanting to bring a dream into reality. And it isn't about trying to manipulate people just to get what you want. But that is how some people view life, and they think that is how everybody does it. And until they see through that illusion, because I think some of these people are going to get in relationships And they could think, oh my gosh, I have finally found someone who likes to indulge in what I like to indulge in, or make their life about me, or make their life about these things of the world. They just don't have as abundant of a foundation as people who are more balanced within themselves. Everybody can put in work and effort to have stability and security and enjoy some of the finer things, and they don't need it all, and they don't need to beat out everyone else and have more than other people in these worldly things, because shadowy energy is about being competitive. But for some people, that's how they define their worth and value, and they want to look like they got more than other people. Look who I'm dating. Look what they look like. Look at their social clout. Look at their money. Look at what they drive, or how much money they make, or the clothes that they wear, you know? And I think eventually they'll feel left out in the cold, because they did make their life so much about those things, and other people kind of saw through the illusion, were able to detach from letting their more worldly nature or self-interest or self-consumed nature drive their life, and they were illuminated to the truth. And they have, equal parts of these things of the world, and having authentic, loving, nurturing, supportive relationships. And then people can kind of see the truth. Some people think, oh no, it's just to create this illusion, and look at us and look what a wonderful life we have. And people are like, yeah, I don't really want to hang out with you guys because you're superficial and shallow. I would rather hang out with these people who really seem to be loving and nurturing and authentic and inspiring, And then these people, it can be a tower moment. I did all these things to look like I have all these things and am this kind of person. Why don't people want to be in a relationship with me and view me like a leader in the world? Because, oh my gosh, you are missing the point about so many things for some people, that it's like they just don't get it, But there for sure, that is it. You got to do these certain things and act these certain ways and wear these certain things and blah, 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 and hang out with these certain people and your life will be wonderful. It's like, are you an authentic person? Are you a loving person? Are you encouraging authentically? Not wearing a mask, that's really the type of person you are, when that's not really it, and it's all driven by ego. I want people to view me a certain way. Oh my gosh. Go live your authentic life. So there you go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.